Hi everyone, this is Bev Gerard at Split Coast Stampers. You'll know me as Texas Grammy or just Tex. And today I'm here to show you a technique that I like to call water stamping. I hope you like it. First you're going to need 1 or 2 dye ink pads. If you're using more than one color, just be sure that they coordinate well together. It's just so doggone hot here in Texas right now that I'm using some pretty hot colors for my card. And to apply that ink, you're going to want either a couple of stamping sponges or my preference is to use these Ink Essentials foam ink applicators with the handle. Either way works fine. You're going to need a piece of white cardstock. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And it can easily be trimmed to whatever size your project requires later. You'll also need a background stamp of your choice. Then you'll need a piece of paper towel folded in half. You're going to use that paper towel inside a pie plate or on a plate. I use a pie plate. And you're going to need to get that paper towel nice and wet, soaky is what I call it, and I'm sure it's a word. Soaky, you see, it's really saturated, but it's not sitting in a lake of water either. So let's get started. Oh, wait, there's one more thing you're going to need. You're also going to need an iron. This is my old standby craft iron, but any iron will do from your laundry area of the house. You don't need it to be a spray iron because you're just going to set it on cotton and use it dry. Now we're ready to start. Now let's get started with the process itself. We'll begin with inking up the cardstock. Get a nice bit of ink on your sponge. I always come in with a circular motion to start applying it. And I'm really rubbing that ink into the paper. I'm going to be using 2 colors on this sample, so I'm leaving some white space to be filled in, obviously, with the other color. This is one really good reason to keep your ink pads nice and juicy. If you do techniques that require lots of ink like this one, always remember to buy your re-inkers. Here we go. I'm blending in the edges of the colors. I don't want white space showing. The process itself is going to create pale areas. So I'm going to fill in all the white spaces I can with inked color so it will look good wherever I cut later to trim for the project. I'm almost done. It almost looks like I've used some yellow in portions. There we go. We're ready to stamp with our water now. I'm just going to use my background stamp on the wet paper towel as I would if it were a stamp pad. But if it looks like I've got it completely applied, then I just stamp as I would any other time. You're going to use your background stamp just as you would had it been inked applying it to plain cardstock, but because you're using water this time, the image will look like a soft reflection of itself. I normally set these aside to air dry, but once they air dry, as you can see with another one, they come out warpy, warped, and so this is where you need your iron. My iron, like I said, is just set to a cotton setting, and I'm really just using it to flatten out that image. If you're electing to use it on a wet image, be sure you're ironing from the back side. And look how it flattens out so nicely. I often stamp on a 12 by 12 tile that was left over from doing some flooring, and I just have white paper on top of that. You can also use your craft mat, your Teflon craft mat, if you like, when you're ironing. See how nice and flat enough now to put your adhesive on the back and use it for your projects. Here's the project I came up with for this particular stamped design. I used hot colors, like I said, because it's a hot summer here. And again, this just demonstrates the soft effect you get. You still see the background, but I haven't defined it in one certain color. It's totally made up of the colors I've chosen to ink with. I hope this is getting your creative feelings stirred. Let me show you just a couple more samples of water stamping. I inked this cardstock with just one color. I believe it was Distress Ink's Tubbled Glass, and then I just merely splattered a bit of water onto the cardstock until I liked the droplets that I had. This is one done with Crushed Olive Distress Ink, and it was a fern, a leafy background stamp. And here's one of the greens and yellows. You know, I don't know which inks I used on this, but again, it was just a splattering of water, quite a bit more water, as you can tell from when I did the rainy day look. But I hope that all of these ideas together give you a good idea and get you on the way to water stamping. I'll be looking forward to seeing your projects in the water stamping gallery. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye now.